Welcome the students in science class. Class 10, Unit 9, Acid, Base and Salt. Topics: acid, characteristic and use of acid. Base, characteristic and use of base. Salt, characteristic and use of salt. Neutralization reaction and its application. Acid, the chemical compound which gives positive ion, hydrogen ion with water solution is called acid. Example: hydrochloric acid, HCl. Sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Classification of acid: organic acid, inorganic acid. Organic acid, the acid which are obtained from living beings is called organic acid. Example: citric acid, oxalic acid, tartaric acid, etc. Inorganic acid, the acid which are obtained from minerals is called inorganic acid. Example: hydrochloric acid, carbonic acid, etc. Characteristic of acid: gives positive ion or hydrogen ion in water solution. Changes blue litmus into red. Has sour taste. Reacts with base to give salt and water. Acid has sour taste because it produces hydrogen ion with water. Use of acid: used in industries, used to make soda water, used to make pickles. Acid reacts with base to give salt and water. 2HCl plus CaO gives CaCl2 plus H2O. HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. Base. The chemical compound which gives negative ion, hydroxide ion, with water solution is called base. Example: sodium hydroxide NaOH, calcium oxide CaO. Classification of base. Base, alkali. Base. Metal oxides or metal hydroxides are base. Some are soluble with water and some are insoluble. Example: sodium hydroxide, calcium oxide, etc. Alkali. The water-soluble bases are called alkali. Example: sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, etc. All alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkali, because only water-soluble bases are alkalis. Characteristic of base: gives negative ion or hydroxide ion in solution, changes red litmus into blue, has bitter taste, reacts with acid to give salt and water. Sodium hydroxide is strong base because it gives more hydroxide ions in solution. Use of base: sodium hydroxide is used in industries. Magnesium hydroxide is used as antacid. Ammonium hydroxide is used to produce fertilizer. Base reacts with carbon dioxide to give carbonates. 2NaOH plus CO2 gives Na2CO3 plus H2O. CaOH2 plus CO2 gives CaCO3 plus H2O. Ammonium salt reacts with alkali to give ammonia. Salt. The chemical compound formed by partial or complete replacement of hydrogen by positive radical of base is called salt. Example: sodium chloride NaCl, calcium sulfate CaSO4. Classification of salt: acidic salt, basic salt, neutral salt, hydrated salt. Acidic salt. The salt formed by partial displacement of hydrogen by basic radical is called acidic salt. Example: zinc sulfate, sodium bisulfate, etc. Basic salt. The salt formed by partial displacement of hydroxide of base is called basic salt. Example: sodium carbonate, sodium acetate, etc. Neutral salt. The salt formed by complete neutralization of acid and base is called neutral salt. It is formed by reaction of hard acid and hard base. Example: sodium chloride, potassium sulfate, etc. Hydrated salt. The salt with some water molecules is called hydrated salt. Example: calcium sulfate heptahydrated CaSO4 7H2O. Characteristic of salt: has their own taste, but some has no taste. Some are acidic, some basic, and some neutral. Some are soluble and some are insoluble. Some have specific color and some are colorless. Use of salt. Sodium chloride is used in kitchen. Copper sulfate is used as fungicides. Sodium bicarbonate is used as baking powder. Ammonium chloride is used in dry cell. Neutralization reaction. When acid reacts with base, they neutralizes each other to give neutral salt and water is called neutralization reaction. Example: chemical equation: HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. Acid-base reaction is called neutralization reaction. Because acid and base neutralizes each other to give neutral salt and water. Use of neutralization reaction. To remove the acidity of soil. To remove the acidity of stomach. For treatment in ant bite. For treatment in wasp bites. Strong and weak acid and base rule. Strong acid gives maximum hydrogen ions in solution. Strong base gives maximum hydroxide ions in solution. Weak acid gives minimum hydrogen ions in solution. Weak base gives minimum hydroxide ions in solution. Strong acid reacts with strong base to give neutral salt. Weak acid reacts with weak base to give neutral salt. Strong acid react with weak base to give acidic salt. Weak acid reacts with strong base to give basic salt. Indicator. The chemical which is used to identify acid, base or neutral substance is called indicator. Indicator: acid, base, salt. Red litmus: red, blue, neutral. Blue litmus: red, blue, neutral. Phenolphthalein: colorless, pink, neutral. Methyl orange: red, yellow, neutral.